Alright guys, today we are gonna be reacting to Belarus interesting facts, cities, people and nature. Jump in.
Hey guys, in this video we're gonna talk about Belarus. Belarus is a landlocked country in Eastern Europe with a population of 9.4 million people. It's bordered by Russia to the northeast, Poland to the west, Lithuania and Latvia to the northwest, and Ukraine to the south. Until the 20th century, different states at various times controlled the lands of modern-day Belarus, including the Principality of Polotsk, the Grand Duchy of Lithuania, and the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. The state plays a huge role in today's economy, and 40% of people are employed by state-controlled companies. They make large dump trucks, as well as buses, tractors, industrial equipment, and much more. Agriculture is also very important and accounts for 8.3% of the GDP. Flax and sugar beet are grown in the country. Belarus ranks first in meat and milk production per capita among ex-USSR countries.
Wow, that's interesting. Meat. So it's in Europe that they rank first? Europe? Or it's only in that region?
The main trading partner is Russia, which buys most of its goods and in return provides the country with cheap raw materials, oil and natural gas. It is not surprising then that the deterioration of the economic situation in Russia immediately affected the economy of Belarus. The average salary today is just about $250. Employees of airlines, petrochemical and IT companies enjoy much higher salaries though. Belarus is known for its IT industry. Many popular games were developed in Belarus.
Wow, I didn't know that. Really? So IT is very big in Belarus?
Like The World of Tanks was developed by the Belarusian studio Wargaming. Surprisingly, there are no labor migrants in the country, so it's the locals' job to clean the streets, plant flowers, and drive the buses and taxis. Due to high inflation, the authorities carried out several denominations in the last 20 years, the last one in 2016. The local currency lost 4 zeros at once. Today, 1 Belarusian ruble is equal to 50 cents. Learning that the neighboring Russia equal to 4 zeros at once. Today, 1 Belarusian ruble is equal to 50 cents.
Okay.
Learning that the neighboring Russia became strict on gambling, Belarus took the opportunity, and Russian high rollers are now more than welcome here. Over 40% of the country is forested,
Wow.
and it's relatively flat. The weather is similar to that of Poland and Germany.
This is very cold, still very cold.
In May, you can already enjoy blooming flowers in the cities, and especially in the countryside. The countryside in Belarus is amazing. You will pass by bright yellow rapeseed fields, then cornfields and wheat fields. Belarus is the land of white storks. This bird is one of the symbols of the country. A lot of times, you can see them on top of power line poles.
That has to be the weirdest thing ever.
Unfortunately, about 70% of the
as an American, I cannot see a bird in my street lights like that. That's weird.
radiation
Not weird for me to see it, right? But I can imagine it's very common for Belarusians to see it. But it's kind of cool.
from the neighboring Ukraine's 1986 Chernobyl nuclear disaster entered Belarusian territory, and about a fifth of Belarus land, mostly farmland and forests in the southeastern regions, were affected by radiation fallout. Let's take a look at the major cities of Belarus. Minsk. Minsk is the capital of Belarus. The city is incredibly green and well maintained. In case you wonder, it's cleaner than most West European cities.
Really?
It's a modern city dominated by monumental Stalinist architecture. Many of its major sites, museums, theaters, and other cultural attractions line Independence Avenue, a wide 15-kilometer long street lit into vast Independence Square. It's a bike-friendly city too. There are numerous parks with fountains. There are many small cozy streets with cafes that resemble Europe. But at the same time, it's the largest industrial center of the country. Tractor plants and automobile plants are located here. The city has a subway consisting of 2 lines and 29 stations. Gomel is the second largest city. It sits on the Sorge River in the southeast of the country. The 18th century Gomel Palace is now a museum displaying paintings, decorative arts, and weaponry. The palace sits in the...
But they don't use it, or they only use it for museum. And beautiful buildings, huh?
lush surroundings of the park ensemble, along with the classical style cathedral of St. Peter and St. Paul, consecrated in 1824. Mogilev is a Belarusian city on the Dnieper River. It's known for its architecture, including the House of Soviets, a Stalin-era building. Pedestrian Lenin Street is home to the 18th century Archbishop's Palace and the Square of Stars. Grodno is a city in western Belarus, near the Polish and Lithuanian border. The old castle is a Renaissance palace on the site of the 11th century fort. Nearby, the new castle was built in the 18th century as a royal residence. The city is very beautiful. It feels just like Western Europe.
I would say it's very Western Europe kind of design. Very Western.
Brest is a cozy, well-kept city in the southwest.
But you can see some of the Stalin kind of design here on the top. You see, some of the old Soviet building style.
Belarus. It stands at the intersection of two rivers. From here, it's really close to both Poland and Ukraine. The symbol of the city is the Brest Fortress, a famous place where one of the first battles between the Soviet and German armies took place in the Second World War. Residential areas are very similar to other Eastern European apartment blocks. Wealthy Belarusians choose to live in the suburbs. Many rich Russians buy real estate in Belarus as well. The most expensive apartments are in Minsk, obviously. The average price per square meter in the capital is $1,200 to $1,500. In other regional centers, it's $500 to $600 per square meter. The rate of serious crimes is significantly lower than in the neighboring Russia, Ukraine, and even Latvia and Lithuania. Perhaps it's because of the number of the police officers patrolling the streets, or perhaps it's just a national trait of the people of Belarus. According to the constitution, Belarus is a democratic state. The reality is, however, somewhat different. The government admits that the Belarusian democracy is significantly different from the Western concept. In 1994, Alexander Lukashenko took power, and from that point had won all the elections.
Wow, so Lukashenko has been, 30 years in power. Damn, that's crazy.
Ever since. And he has no plans of resigning or retiring anytime soon. Belarus has shown no intentions to join the European Union so far. Today, the international human rights organization Freedom House classifies Belarus as a non-free country. Western countries have described Belarus under Lukashenko as a dictatorship. Belarus and the US were the only two of the 56 member states of the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe to have carried out executions during 2011. Belarusians don't hesitate to introduce modern technologies. German or American, doesn't matter. Whatever works. The roads are actually surprisingly good. The maximum allowed speed is 120 kilometers, which allows you to travel fast throughout the country.
That big country too. That big country. Look at that train.
Like many other Eastern European countries, Belarus has a negative population growth rate and a negative natural growth rate.
Damn.
A lot of people think that's a bad thing, but I think it's a good thing. Seeing some overpopulated cities around the world, I feel like less people is better.
Nah, bro, you have no idea. In that region, you guys are losing population. This is not a joke. By 2050, it's gonna start declining fast, and if you don't have regeneration replacing that, it's gonna be a long stretch out there. Very, very. You're saying because in a lot of because they're concentrating in their big cities, but they're not concentrated outside the cities.
In terms of alcohol consumption per capita, Belarus ranks second in the world at 17 liters per year. Agrotourism is just beginning to develop. Belarus definitely has something to offer. Competitive prices, not just competitive, low prices, and great scenic views. Many places to go hunting and fishing. Fishing is actually what comes to mind because Belarus is a land of lakes. There are more than 11,000 lakes here. Belarusskaya Pusha National Park is one of the last remaining parts of the immense primeval forest that once stretched across the European plain. The forest is home to 800 European bison, Europe's heaviest land animal.
Beautiful.
Belarus has lots of preserved castles and parks, the most famous of which are Nesvizh and Minsk castles. Foreigners are flabbergasted by how well Belarus looks, by its low prices and friendly people, although many admit that they were initially afraid to visit the country. Let's see what foreign tourists have to say.
And where do you come from? Steven Sterling from Santa Barbara, California. And we've been in the city for a day now. It's fantastic exploring Minsk. It's very nice. Streets are very clean, great condition. The architecture, fantastic. And we've been walking around, took the metro. That was a great experience. Saw the Victory Parade. That was great as well. Just had a really good time here, and it impressed us is probably the best way to put it. But I would recommend it for tourism. Prices are not bad, and the amenities are there, so it's everything you need.
Tomatoes, mushrooms, and pork are the three most important ingredients of the Belarusian cuisine. Make sure to try some draniki, or potato pancakes.
You know what? I do videos for Germany's too, and they do potato pancakes as well. It seems like in that region, potato pancakes is the thing, right?
Belarus is definitely worth visiting. It's a beautiful country, but unfortunately, with a limited amount of freedom. And what do you think about Belarus, guys? Let me know.
Oh, it seems like a very nice. This guy does a very good job, man. I don't know, but it seems like a very nice country, very clean. I mean, a little bit controlled by the state, but it is what it is. Those countries over there, they seem like they like that. They like that. Very nice. Any Belarusian guys? Let me know in the comment section below where you live and do you know the city. I'll see you next one.